Have you ever noticed how AI is just, well, everywhere now? It's
Mhm.
not always the big headline thing, but it's kind of humming along behind the scenes, isn't it? Powering apps, infrastructure,
It really is. It's shaping so much.
yeah, shaping our lives in ways we're probably still trying to wrap our heads around.
Absolutely. And, as it gets more integrated, understanding how to manage the risks responsibly, that becomes absolutely critical for any organization.
Which is exactly why we're doing this deep dive today, right?
Exactly. We're diving into the AI Risk Management Framework Playbook.
Okay. So our mission today really is to cut through the maybe the jargon, extract the key insights,
Yeah, the actionable stuff.
the surprising facts, those nuggets that'll help you understand how organizations can navigate this AI complexity responsibly, making sure the systems are trustworthy.
And it's important to say up front, the playbook itself, it's not some rigid checklist. You don't just tick boxes.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Good to know.
It's more of a flexible guide. It offers voluntary actions, suggestions, grouped into 4 key functions: govern, manage, map, and measure.
So think of this deep dive as like your shortcut.
Exactly. Your shortcut to getting what's really important in there without reading every single page. A solid overview.
All right, let's do it. Let's unpack the first function. Govern. You said this is about the foundation.
Yeah, the bedrock. Establishing the organizational policies, the processes, the practices. Basically making AI risk management transparent and effective right from the get-go.
Okay, so what's one of the first big hurdles the playbook flags here?
Well, straight away, it's navigating the legal and regulatory side. It's complex, and it's always changing with AI.
I can imagine.
For instance, the playbook points out this really important kind of subtle difference between disparate impact,
Okay.
where a policy looks neutral, but ends up harming a specific group disproportionately,
All right.
and disparate treatment, which is, intentional discrimination.
Okay, clear difference.
But here's the tricky part. Some debiasing techniques, the very things designed to make AI fairer, maybe by adjusting outputs based on demographics,
Yeah.
can actually bump up against legal rules that prohibit using that same demographic data.
Oh, wow. So trying to fix bias could land you in legal trouble?
Potentially, yes. It forces this really careful balancing act between the ethical goal and, well, strict compliance. It's not just make it fair.
That's a tough spot. And you mentioned legal risks. The
Sure.
playbook also talks about the digital divide, right? How does that fit in?
Well, think about it. If an AI system isn't accessible to everyone, maybe someone doesn't have reliable internet or has a disability,
Mhm.
it can inadvertently shut people out, disadvantage them. The playbook warns this can create real legal risks, especially in sensitive areas like employment.
Ah, okay. Fair access is key there.
Definitely.
So once you're aware of these pitfalls, how does an organization actually, bake trustworthiness into its everyday operations, its policies?
The playbook really hammers this home. Make those trustworthy AI characteristics like fairness, transparency, security central to all policies and procedures,
Not just an add-on.
not an add-on. Clear policies help systematize things, define roles,
Yeah.
responsibilities. It stops risk management being subjective or, just based on who shouts loudest.
Makes sense.
And one specific thing they suggest, which I think is really smart, is having clear whistleblower policies.
For AI concerns specifically.
Yeah. A safe way for people inside to raise the alarm about serious AI system problems without fear. It's about accountability.
That sounds vital. But, okay, all this takes effort, resources. How do companies decide how much effort to put in?
That's where risk tolerance comes in. The playbook says organizations have to figure out their own acceptable level of risk.
Like a threshold.
Exactly. It could range from negligible, meaning basically no concern, up to critical, where you're talking potential irrecoverable losses, human, financial, reputational, the really bad stuff.
How do they measure that? Is there like a formula?
There's a practical approach. They suggest thinking risk is roughly impact times likelihood.
Okay.
And often this gets visualized using simple scales like red, amber, green RGAG charts. Gives you a quick visual check on how serious something might be.
Our RAG status, got it.
Yeah.
So you've got policies, you know your tolerance. How do you make sure this stuff is actually like visible, communicated, implemented?
That leads straight to the power of transparent documentation. The playbook really stresses this.
Why is it so crucial?
Well, think about it. Clear, standard documents. Who
Yeah.
owns the AI? What data was it trained on? What were the test results? It helps with accountability, right?
Yeah.
It means you can replicate things, you can show it's robust, and crucially, if something goes wrong, you can find the information you need fast. Imagine a system failing and having no records.
Chaos. And I guess good documents build trust, too.
Absolutely. Connects right back to trust. The playbook even suggests publicly disclosing AI use and
Hmm.
sharing things like impact assessments. That transparency really helps build public confidence.
Okay, but AI isn't static, is it? Systems change, the world changes.
Exactly. They're dynamic. Performance can shift unexpectedly after deployment. So, the playbook emphasizes ongoing, continuous monitoring.
Watching it in the wild.
Yeah, and having incident response plans ready. Even things like appeal and override processes, so a human can step in if the AI makes a questionable call.
Human in the loop.
hmm And what's really interesting here is the idea of an AI system inventory.
In inventory, like a stock list?
Sort of, yeah, a really organized database of absolutely everything about every AI system you have.
Wow, everything.
Everything. So you can quickly ask, when was this model last updated?
Hmm.
Or how many systems use this particular data source? The playbook pushes for a full inventory, not just bits and pieces. A partial view doesn't cut it for real risk management.
That holistic view again. Okay. And just like deploying needs care, getting rid of AI needs thought too, right? The playbook says just switching it off can increase risk.
Precisely. You need systematic decommissioning policies. You have to think about user concerns, reputational hits, legal stuff like data retention, what other systems depend on it.
Can't just pull the plug.
Nope. A thoughtful exit strategy is vital.
So, moving beyond policies and docs, how do you create a culture where people actually think about risk? Risk-aware organizational culture.
It starts with clear roles and responsibilities. Everyone involved needs to know their part.
Makes sense.
The playbook even suggests separating the teams who build the AI from the teams who test it
Oh, interesting. Why?
to counter biases, basically. Things like groupthink, where everyone agrees too easily, or the sunk cost fallacy, where you stick with something bad because you've already invested so much. Separation brings fresh eyes, independent checks.
Like getting a second opinion built in. Smart. And this isn't just for the techies.
No, absolutely not. The playbook stresses mandatory AI risk training for everyone. Technical teams, oversight folks, managers, everyone.
And I assume leadership needs to be on board.
Critically, executive leadership has to set the tone. They need to declare the risk tolerance clearly and genuinely champion a harm and risk prevention mindset. It has to come from the top.
Top-down buy-in. But it's also about the teams doing the work, right? You mentioned diverse teams earlier.
Yes, the playbook brings this up again under govern. It says decision-making related to AI risks is informed by a diverse team.
And that means more than just demographics.
Much more. Diversity in discipline, experience, background, perspective. An interdisciplinary team spots risks a more uniform group might totally miss. They challenge assumptions. It's like having different experts examine the same evidence.
Makes total sense. And as AI gets smarter, the human role changes too. The playbook talks about defining human oversight rules, especially as AI goes from just supporting decisions to making them.
Yeah, and this brings up a really concerning concept, moral crumple zones.
Moral crumple zones, like on a car.
Exactly like that. It's where a human unintentionally becomes the scapegoat, the fall guy, for an AI failure.
How does that happen?
Imagine an AI makes a bad call, but the human supervisor's role was unclear. Or they lacked real control or the right info to intervene. The blame just gets crumpled onto them unfairly.
Ooh, that sounds awful.
It is. So, clear policies on human AI configuration are essential to prevent this. The playbook says you must understand the known difficulties in human AI teaming and user experience. You can't just assume humans can effectively oversee any AI.
So how do you build in that critical thinking, that challenging of assumptions during development?
The playbook suggests practices that foster a critical thinking and safety-first mindset. Things like effective challenge.
Which is?
Basically, encouraging experts, maybe independent ones, to actively question design choices, assumptions, proposed solutions. Don't just accept things at face value.
And the other one was red teaming.
Right. Red teaming is where you have a team deliberately try to break the system.
Like ethical hacking for AI.
Exactly. They actively look for vulnerabilities, try to fool the AI, push it under stress, find unexpected behaviors. It's about finding flaws before they cause harm in the real world.
Seems essential.
And they also mention impact assessments, structured ways to identify potential negative impacts, especially on, say, historically marginalized groups.
And it's not just looking internally, is it? External feedback matters too.
Hugely important. Collecting and really integrating feedback from external stakeholders. The playbook specifically warns against participation washing.
Participation washing.
Yeah, it's when you go through the motions of asking for feedback, maybe hold some meetings, but you don't actually use it. It's performative, and it can destroy trust faster than doing nothing.
Ouch.
So genuine engagement is key. They suggest clear ways for people impacted to seek recourse and even mention bug bounties for algorithmic harms.
Whoa, bug bounties for AI harm, not just code bugs.
Yeah, that was a real nugget for me too. It signals a shift, recognizing that harm isn't just about technical flaws. It's about incentivizing people to find those algorithmic harms, the unintended societal consequences.
It's actually quite progressive. Shows real commitment.
It does. And finally, under govern, there's managing third-party AI, using external systems, data, open source models.
Yeah.
It can make things less transparent, add risk.
Because you didn't build it yourself.
Right. The playbook says you need to apply the same rigorous governance to third-party stuff as you do to your own internal developments.
Sounds like a lot, but necessary. And you need backup plans.
Absolutely. Especially for high-risk third-party systems. Develop contingency processes for failures because you just can't assume they'll always work perfectly.
Okay, that's a lot under govern. Let's move to manage. If govern sets the foundation, manage is the action phase.
Pretty much. You take the assessments from mapping and measuring, which we'll get to. You prioritize the risks, and you decide what to do about them, making the strategic calls.
And one of the biggest calls is, should we even use this AI?
Exactly. A critical decision.
Right.
Should this system be deployed at all? The playbook says you have to formally weigh the potential negative risks against the benefits.
Looking at those trustworthiness characteristics again.
Yes, accuracy, fairness, security, transparency, etc. And acknowledging the trade-offs. Maybe boosting performance slightly reduces explainability. You have to make conscious choices.
Okay, so say you decide to go ahead or maybe modify. How do you actually treat the risks you've identified and prioritized?
It depends on the risk's impact, likelihood, and what resources you have. The playbook lays out 4 main options.
Okay.
You can mitigate it, take action to reduce the likelihood or impact. You can transfer it maybe through insurance or outsourcing agreements. You can avoid it, just decide not to do the risky thing, maybe don't deploy that feature, or you can accept it.
Just live with it.
If the risk level is within your tolerance, yes. But, and this is crucial, you have to document any negative residual risks.
Residual risks.
The leftovers.
The ones you didn't fully mitigate or avoid, you need to be transparent about those, especially if they might affect downstream users. Think warning labels, clear disclosures, be upfront.
That transparency again, important. The playbook also nudges organizations to question if AI is even the right tool, doesn't it? Yes, it challenges the assumption that AI is always the answer. It pushes you to seriously consider non-AI alternatives, or maybe semi-automated approaches, if they might actually be more trustworthy in the end.
A good reality check.
And once a system is deployed, the focus in manage shifts to sustaining its value. You have to actively monitor for drift.
Drift, like the system losing its way.
Kinda. It's when performance degrades over time because the world changes. The data it sees is different. The environment shifts. Think of a spam filter that slowly gets worse because spammers change tactics. That's drift.
Ah, okay, so you need controls.
Lots of controls. Data quality checks, privacy measures, specific machine learning security techniques like differential privacy.
Which adds noise to protect data.
Right. Adds calculated noise to data sets so you can analyze trends without revealing individual information. Lots of tools in the box.
But what about the complete unknowns, the things you didn't plan for? AI is complex, surprises must happen.
Oh, they will. That's why incident response is so critical under manage. Having procedures ready to recognize, counter, mitigate, and recover from unforeseen incidents, it's about resilience to the unexpected.
Preparing for surprises. And sometimes you just have to say, this isn't working, time to pull the plug.
Exactly. Manage covers superseding, disengaging, or deactivating systems. You need clear triggers when performance drops below a threshold, or outcomes are way off intended use, and clear responsibilities for who makes that call.
And again, not just flipping a switch.
Standard protocols are needed to minimize disruption, especially to downstream systems, and critically, preserve materials, data, logs, models for forensic review. Learn from the failure.
Got up that audit trail. And manage also circles back to third-party AI.
Yes, it's an ongoing concern. Continuous monitoring of those external resources, applying risk controls.
Any specific call-outs there?
They specifically mention pre-trained models. Very common now, huge time savers. But they can be risky if you don't know their origins, what beta they sought, what biases they might have learned. Lack of documentation can lead to nasty surprises, so ongoing vigilance is key.
Okay, diligence required. Next up, map. So govern was the foundation, manage the response. Map is about understanding the context.
Precisely. Establishing and really digging into the context where the AI will operate, its purpose, its potential impacts, good and bad, and its limitations.
And it's more than just what the developers intended.
Way more. The playbook stresses that even a technically perfect AI can cause harm if the deployment context isn't understood. Tools get reused, misused.
For things they weren't designed for.
Exactly. So you have to examine the intended purpose alongside potential unanticipated purposes, and how even small system changes like tweaking an AI's objective function could have ripple effects, like suddenly disadvantaging certain job candidates without meaning to.
It's that real-world complexity. Technology doesn't exist in a vacuum.
Never does. And map, like manage, reinforces considering non-AI options if they lead to more trustworthy outcomes. Don't just default to AI.
And again, the diverse team is key here.
Absolutely crucial for mapping. Interdisciplinary teams, diverse backgrounds, they challenge assumptions, they see things others miss, they help surface those implicit biases or potential problems baked into the context itself.
So you've got the context, the team. How do you align the AI with the actual business goals and societal values?
MAP discusses defining the specific business purpose clearly, but within that broader societal context. It asks the tough question: does this AI actually provide real benefit beyond its costs? Do the risks outweigh the advantages?
That feeds right back into those go-no-go decisions in Manage.
Directly. You need to document the business value and explicitly check if it aligns with your organization's stated values and social responsibility goals.
And MAP brings up risk tolerance again, but with a twist. Off-label uses.
Yeah, this is where it really bites. An organization defines its risk tolerance, but then maybe a system gets used off-label for something it wasn't designed or tested for, especially in high-risk areas.
Like using a medical diagnostic tool for something slightly different.
Could be. The playbook says you must document these off-label decisions and the specific risks they introduce. Acknowledge you're stepping outside the original design.
Okay, transparency is paramount there. How does mapping ensure the system actually meets real needs and avoids just encoding developer biases?
It points out that AI requirements often move faster than traditional software docs. This can lead to overlooking stakeholder needs or relying too much on the development team's assumptions.
So you need to be proactive.
Very proactive. Build trustworthiness characteristics into the requirements from the start. Actively involve potentially impacted groups in setting priorities. Do user research to understand those systemic historical factors that could influence the AI.
Build it in, don't bolt it on. MAP also talks about knowledge limits.
Yes, understanding what the AI doesn't know. And clearly documenting how humans will use and oversee its output.
Because humans are part of the system.
Always. And dependencies on upstream data, other AIs introduce uncertainty. MAP also flags the risk of users either over-trusting the AI,
Blindly following it.
or under-trusting it, dismissing good advice. These human-AI interaction complexities are major risk areas.
That makes sense. And then there's the science bit data challenges.
A big topic in MAP. AI complexity challenges traditional testing. Risks don't stop at deployment, they continue into operation. Measurement needs to go beyond just the AI box.
And the data itself.
Huge issue. Sometimes data is used because it's available, not because it's suitable. This leads to non-representative data sets, baked-in bias, downstream risks.
So it looks like it works in testing but fails in the real world.
Often. And MAP introduces construct validity. Making sure your data, or the proxy you're using, actually measures the thing you claim it measures. This is crucial for abstract concepts. AI is often used for hireability, risk, intent. Are you really measuring that? Or just something correlated with it, maybe unfairly?
Wow, that's deep. Getting the measurement right is fundamental. Is there an easier way to manage risk mentioned in MAP?
Yes. Narrow the scope. A simpler task-specific AI is usually much easier to manage risk-wise than a broad, general-purpose one interacting with the public. Think simple chatbot versus a massive language model. Vastly different risk profile.
Focus makes it easier. Makes sense. What about the people using the AI? The operators?
MAP discusses proficiency standards for them. especially when they're domain experts, doctors, lawyers, engineers, using AI tools, not AI developers themselves.
How do you ensure they use it effectively?
The challenge is leveraging, not replacing, practitioner domain expertise. You
Yeah.
need to watch out for automation bias, just clicking yes because the AI suggested it, or selective adherence, ignoring the AI when it might be right.
So training and evaluating the human part of the system is critical.
Absolutely, especially in high-stakes situations. That oversight needs rigorous evaluation before deployment.
And inevitably, third-party tech comes up again in MAP.
It does. Open source, pre-trained models, they introduce risks if their origins or how they were built aren't clear. MAP stresses reviewing audit reports, terms of service, doing your own internal checks on anything you acquire.
Due diligence on everything. Okay. Govern, manage, map. Finally, measure. This is where the metrics come in.
Exactly. Identifying and applying the right methods and metrics to actually assess the AI risks and trustworthy as characteristics we've been talking about.
And it's not one size fits all.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
The playbook emphasizes that measuring AI risk is constantly evolving. What you measure depends entirely on the purpose, the audience, the specific AI task. Neural nets are different from NLP and the use case.
So what should you measure?
Things like tracking errors and incidents, defining acceptable performance limits, maybe even measuring the competency of the AI actors involved. How well are they doing their job?
And you can't just set metrics and walk away.
No way. You have to regularly assess if your metrics are still appropriate, if your controls are still effective. Especially because of that drift we talked about. Things change in operation.
So reevaluate the measurements themselves.
Yes. And importantly, get others involved in the evaluation. Internal experts who didn't build the system, maybe independent assessors, get those fresh eyes, that unbiased view to really characterize the performance.
Like peer review for AI systems.
Kinda, yeah.
And when humans are involved in testing or their data.
Then you have strict legal and ethical requirements. Document everything about the testing, data sets, metrics, tools for repeatability, get informed consent, ensure the data is truly representative of the relevant population.
Representative data seems key.
Crucial. And Measure introduces disaggregated evaluation methods,
Meaning?
breaking down the performance results by subgroups, race, age, gender, whatever's relevant. This is how you spot hidden biases, where the AI might work well overall but poorly for a specific group. It helps you improve real-world fairness.
So lab testing isn't enough.
Not nearly enough. Measure stresses testing for conditions similar to deployment setting. You need to understand how impacts actually happen in the real world.
Stress testing, pushing the limits.
Yes. Test under likely difficult conditions, concept drift, high load, and even use things like chaos engineering.
Chaos engineering sounds dramatic.
It's about intentionally injecting failures, unpredictable conditions, to see how the system really behaves under stress. Does it break gracefully? How does it recover?
Finding the breaking points proactively.
Exactly. Measure also revisits validity, construct validity again, and reliability. Documenting the limits of generalizability, where does this AI stop working well, and of course continuous monitoring in production, watching for drift, setting up alerts for anomalies.
It's an ongoing process. Finally, under measure, security and resilience.
Key definitions here. Resilience is the ability to withstand adverse events, keep essential functions going, degrade gracefully.
Bend but don't break.
Right. Security is broader, avoiding, protecting against, responding to, and recovering from attacks.
And red teaming comes back here.
Yes, for security testing.
Yeah.
Actively probing for vulnerabilities under adversarial conditions. Looking for things like adversarial examples.
Those tricky inputs designed to fool AI.
Yeah. Or data poisoning, where someone maliciously feeds bad data to corrupt the model. Measure also talks about countermeasures, things like authentication, maybe differential privacy again, to make the system more robust against these threats.
Wow. That's a lot to cover in those 4 functions. So pulling it all together, what's the big takeaway for us, for individuals living in this AI world?
I think the biggest thing is that managing AI risk isn't a one-and-done task. It's a continuous journey.
Right, yeah, iterative.
It demands this holistic view, technical, legal, social, organizational stuff, all woven together across the AI's entire life. It's an ongoing commitment, not just a project.
And for everyone out there, whether you're building AI, using it at work, or just living your life understanding these ideas seems crucial.
It really is. It empowers you to ask the right questions, to demand responsible AI from the companies and organizations deploying it. It's about being informed.
So maybe a final thought to leave people with.
Well, as these AI systems get more autonomous, more woven into everything we do, maybe the real measure of their trustworthiness isn't just the tech specs. Maybe it's about our collective commitment, our willingness to adapt, to keep questioning, and to really foster human wisdom alongside the machine intelligence.
Human wisdom alongside machine intelligence. I like that. A lot to think about.